Think about this for a moment that morning. Toast you've been having for years, the sandwich that's quick, easy, and always there when you're too tired to cook. What if they weren't as harmless as they seem? I've spent years working with older adults, and here's something most people never hear from their doctors. The foods we trust the most, the ones we've eaten for decades without question, can quietly chip away at our energy, our memory, and our independence. Maybe you've noticed it already. That deep fatigue that hits you mid-afternoon. The stiffness in your knees that wasn't there last year. The way your thoughts sometimes feel slower. And most people naturally blame age. But here's the truth: in many cases, it's not just age. It's the bread. Because some of the most common breads sold today, the ones labeled as heart-healthy or made with whole grains, are actually packed with processed flour, hidden sugars, and chemicals that spike inflammation, disrupt digestion, and even impair brain function over time. Luckily, there's a better way. And it doesn't mean giving up bread, it means getting smarter about the kind you eat. Today, I'll walk you through 4 breads that older adults should avoid after 60 and 4 that can help support your energy, digestion, joints, and even memory. Especially the last one, which is the most overlooked and maybe the most healing. This is Golden Health Seniors, your guide to staying strong, sharp, and independent without the confusion. If that sounds helpful, go ahead and subscribe, because what you eat tomorrow starts with what you learn today. Let's begin with number 1, grain-coated bread. It looks like the healthiest loaf on the shelf, a nice brown color, a sprinkle of oats or seeds on top, maybe even a label that says 12 grains or whole grain goodness. But don't let the crust fool you. This type of bread, what I call grain-coated bread, is one of the biggest tricks in the grocery store. It looks whole-hearty and wholesome, but inside it's mostly just refined white flour with a marketing makeover. Here's what's really happening: companies use a bit of seeds, bran, or oats on the outside, just enough to earn that multi-grain label. But the base of the bread, the part you actually eat, is often no better than white bread. In fact, a study from Johns Hopkins found that over 90% of multigrain breads contained less than 5% whole grains. That means most of what you're chewing is sugar and starch. For older adults, this is a huge deal, because mixed grains digest at different speeds. Some spike your blood sugar fast, others follow a few minutes later. It's like throwing logs, twigs, and gasoline on a fire all at once. You get multiple insulin spikes, more crashes, more cravings. And when your body's insulin response is already slowing after 60, this creates a daily blood sugar roller coaster, which leads to fatigue, weight gain, and even muscle breakdown. If the first ingredient isn't 100% whole grain, name flour, put it back. Wheat flour means white flour. Multigrain means nothing. Instead, go for single grain, real whole grain breads and rotate them through the week. Ever bought bread just because it looked healthy? Comment guilty if this one got you. And let's be honest, what do most people eat with bread? A side of veggies, maybe a little tomato, spinach, even a slice of grilled eggplant. But here's something that might surprise you: some vegetables that seem healthy can quietly spike inflammation, worsen joint pain, and mess with your sleep. I'll be breaking those down in tomorrow's video: the 4 worst vegetables to avoid after 60, and the 4 you should eat daily to protect your vision, memory, and mobility. So make sure you don't miss that. But first, we need to talk about the bread you've probably trusted since childhood, the soft white loaf that spikes your blood sugar faster than a candy bar. Now, number 2, fluffy white bread. If you're over 60 and still eating this bread, it could be why your energy crashes by 2 p.m., why your belly keeps growing even though your portions haven't changed, and why your memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. I'm talking about soft, fluffy white bread, the kind most of us grew up on. It's warm, comforting, familiar. You toasted it as a kid, packed it into school lunches. Maybe you still use it for peanut butter, grilled cheese, or just something quick when you're tired. But here's the truth: after 60, fluffy white bread becomes one of the most damaging foods in your kitchen. And it's not just because it's low in fiber, it's because it actually robs your body of nutrients and sends your blood sugar into chaos. Here's why: white bread is made from highly refined flour. During processing, nearly 80% of the original grain's vitamins, minerals, and fiber are stripped away. What's left is a soft, sweet, empty starch, one that digests faster than sugar. A study from the Cleveland Clinic followed over 3,000 older adults for 5 years and found that those who ate white bread daily aged biologically 2.3 years faster than those who avoided it. Researchers measured telomere length, a cellular marker of aging, and found it was significantly shorter in the white bread group. But that's not all. White bread also contains additives and bleaching agents that interfere with your thyroid, especially as you age. One of these compounds actually competes with iodine, the mineral your thyroid needs to regulate energy and metabolism. And when your thyroid slows down, so does your entire body. Brain fog, fatigue, stubborn weight gain, and slower digestion. If you're used to white bread, don't quit cold turkey. Start slow, mix 75% white with 25% whole grain for a week. Then go 50-50, then 25-75. Within 3 weeks, most people don't miss white bread at all. And here's a tip: use sliced cucumber, tomato, or avocado to make your whole grain sandwiches moist and flavorful. It helps retrain your taste buds, which have been hijacked by years of processed softness. If you grew up on soft white bread like I did, and still crave it now, and then you're not alone. Comment white bread if that's been your comfort food. But the next bread is sneakier. It's dark, heavy, and feels like a health food. But it's loaded with sugar, molasses, and fake color that can quietly wreck your digestion and worsen inflammation, especially in your joints. Moving on to number 3. Sweetened dark bread. You might think this bread is your healthiest choice. It's dark, it looks hearty, it feels dense, and it almost dares you to believe it's good for your heart. But here's what most people don't know. Many dark-colored breads on grocery store shelves aren't healthy at all. They're sweetened, dyed, and highly processed. I call them sweetened dark breads, and they're often labeled as pumpernickel dark rye, or just artisan-style brown loaves. But that deep brown color, it doesn't come from whole grains. It comes from molasses, caramel coloring, and sometimes corn syrup. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that over 75% of store-bought dark breads contained high fructose corn syrup, a sweetener linked to gut inflammation, insulin resistance, and accelerated aging in people over 60. And it gets worse. As we age, our digestive systems slow down. We produce fewer enzymes. Our stomach acid weakens. That means it becomes harder to break down overly processed artificial foods, especially when they're pretending to be healthy. These fake dark breads can lead to bloating, fatigue, acid reflux, and poor nutrient absorption. And over time, they silently weaken your gut lining, a root cause of joint pain, immune issues, and mental fog. Want the benefits of real dark bread? Look for authentic sourdough rye or imported German-style loaves. Ingredients should be simple: whole rye flour, water, salt, and sourdough starter. That's it. No caramel color, no added sugar, and real rye bread. It should feel dense like a brick. If it feels soft and springy, it's fake. And if you usually eat dark bread with a side of vegetables, maybe some grilled eggplant or sautéed spinach, make sure to catch tomorrow's video. I'll be breaking down 4 popular vegetables that actually trigger inflammation and joint pain in adults over 60. You'd be shocked how many people think they're helping themselves. But they're not. That's coming next. Now let's talk about the last bread on this list, the one that pretends to be European style, but is really white bread in disguise. And it may be causing a 43% drop in your gut health without you even noticing. And finally, number 4, dark supermarket loaf. This bread wears a disguise. It looks healthy. It sounds European. And it even smells like it belongs in a fancy bakery. But under the label, it's just white bread wearing a brown coat. We're talking about the modern, mass-produced version of rye bread, the kind that sits on supermarket shelves for weeks and claims to be heart-healthy. But here's what they don't tell you. Most commercial rye bread contains less than 8% actual rye flour. The rest, refined white flour sweeteners and artificial coloring to give it that signature healthy look. A 2024 study from the University of Michigan found that adults over 60 who ate commercial rye daily had 156% higher levels of advanced glycation end products, toxic compounds linked to inflammation, joint breakdown, and cognitive decline. And it gets worse. Real rye bread, the kind that supports digestion and brain health, is made with slow fermentation and sourdough culture. That process breaks down gluten and creates beneficial bacteria for your gut. But commercial rye skips all of that. It's made with rapid rise yeast and dough conditioners, chemicals that keep the bread soft for weeks, but quietly destroy the balance of bacteria in your gut. Studies show it can reduce healthy gut bacteria by 43% in just 6 weeks. That's a serious problem for older adults whose microbiomes are already more fragile with age. If you want real rye, read the label. Look for whole rye flour as the first ingredient. Sourdough starter instead of yeast. No sugar, no coloring, no additives. It should be dense, tangy, and go stale in a few days. That's a good sign. Ever bought rye bread thinking it was the real deal? Type rye regret below if this one caught you off guard. But first, let's switch gears, because not all bread is the enemy. In fact, coming up next are 4 breads that can fuel your energy, sharpen your memory, and even protect your heart. Starting with one most people have never even tried. We've talked about the breads you need to ditch the ones draining your energy, spiking your blood sugar, and silently aging your gut. But now, let's flip the script. In fact, the right kinds of bread made the right way can support your digestion, protect your heart, steady your memory, and even help your muscles stay strong as you age. These aren't the breads that sit on shelves for weeks. They're fresh, dense, packed with nutrients your body actually knows how to use. And most people over 60 have never even tried them. Let's count down the 4 best breads to eat after 60, and the final one might be the most overlooked of them all. Because not all bread is bad. In fact, after 60, choosing the right kind of bread can support your digestion, boost your energy, protect your memory, and even help you live longer. And no, we're not talking about trendy gluten-free diets or tasteless fiber bricks. We're talking about real nutrient-dense breads that work with your body, not against it. The first one is sprouted grain bread. This isn't just whole grain, it's grain that's already started to grow. And when it sprouts, something powerful happens. Tough anti-nutrients begin to break down, and important vitamins like B12, folate, and iron become easier to absorb. A recent study showed that older adults eating sprouted bread daily had 30–40% better nutrient uptake and reported fewer digestive issues like bloating or constipation. It also provides complete plant-based proteins, which support muscle retention as we age. Look for sprouted as the first word in the ingredient list and skip anything with added sugar or preservatives. Next, we have traditional sourdough, and not the supermarket kind with vinegar added for fake tang. We're talking about real sourdough fermented naturally over 12–24 hours with wild yeast. This slow process breaks down gluten, feeds good bacteria, and reduces the glycemic impact of the bread. In fact, real sourdough has been shown to increase gut diversity by nearly 50% in adults over 60. That matters because a healthy gut directly supports your immune system, mood, and even brain clarity. It should only contain flour, water, salt, and starter, nothing else. Then there's Ezekiel bread. It's made from a biblical recipe that combines sprouted grains and legumes like lentils, barley, millet, and beans. The result is a complete protein bread with very low glycemic impact, safer for blood sugar and more satisfying for long-lasting energy. A study by the Cleveland Clinic showed that seniors who switched to Ezekiel bread saw up to a 45% drop in inflammation, better cholesterol levels, and improved insulin sensitivity. It's denser than regular bread and must be stored frozen because it contains no preservatives, but that's part of what makes it powerful. Finally, we have 100% whole grain bread. Not wheat bread, not made with whole grains, but real whole grain bread where every part of the grain bran, germ, and endosperm is intact. This kind of bread acts like natural medicine for the heart and brain. Harvard researchers tracked over 10,000 seniors for a decade and found that those eating whole grain bread daily lived nearly 4 years longer on average, with dramatically lower risk of heart attack, stroke, and Alzheimer's. The fiber feeds good gut bacteria, the vitamins help regulate hormones, and the beta-glucan even helps remove excess cholesterol from the body. So no, you don't need to give up bread. But you do need to give up the wrong kind and bring in the right ones. Choose breads that nourish, not numb. That build, not bloat. And remember, the right loaf on your plate could make the next 10 years of your life feel lighter, sharper, and stronger than the last. We've covered a lot today, and I hope you can see now just how powerful something as simple as bread can be when it's chosen with care. 4 types of bread: sprouted grain, real sourdough, Ezekiel, and 100% whole grain. Each brings something unique to your health after 60. Sprouted grain bread helps unlock the nutrients your body needs to absorb more easily, especially when digestion slows with age. Real sourdough supports your gut and immune system through natural fermentation that breaks down gluten and feeds good bacteria. Ezekiel bread delivers a complete protein source and helps keep blood sugar steady, giving you more energy to move, think, and live fully. And 100% whole grain bread offers lasting protection for your heart, your brain, and your bones, simply by preserving what nature intended. On their own, each bread has a benefit. But when you choose them, intentionally rotating them through your meals, pairing them with healthy fats and protein, they become more than just food. They become part of a rhythm. A quiet way to feed your body what it needs to stay strong, alert, and resilient as the years go by. And the bigger message here is this: aging doesn't mean surrendering. It means adjusting, listening, and choosing better little by little. Yes, your metabolism has changed. Yes, some foods hit harder than they used to. But that doesn't mean you've lost control. You still have influence over how your body feels day to day and how well it holds up over the years to come. Even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your cells are still listening. Your muscles, your memory, your digestion, they still respond to nourishment. And something as small as a slice of sprouted grain bread at breakfast, or a warm piece of sourdough with soup at dinner, can become part of your comeback. So, if you take one thing from this video, let it be this: you're not too old and it's not too late. Choosing the right bread isn't about perfection. It's about giving your body a little more of what it needs and a little less of what slows it down. Thank you for spending this time with us here at Golden Health Seniors, where we believe healthy aging should feel simple, doable, and hopeful. If this message encouraged you, give this video a like, share it with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next science-backed, heart-centered tip for living well over 60. In our next video, we'll be talking about 4 everyday vegetables that may look healthy, but can actually trigger inflammation, joint pain, and blood sugar spikes when cooked the wrong way. If you eat vegetables with your meals, especially alongside bread, you'll definitely want to hear this. I can't wait to share it with you. So I'll see you in the next video.